When I set out to write Prophetic Healing, Howard Thurman's vision of contemplative activism, I was in search of a pathway that integrated politics, empathy, and civility. I felt like the prophet Amos when a religious leader told him to go back where he came from. Amos responded, "I am no prophet, nor a prophet's son. I am a herdsman and a dresser of sycamore trees. And God took me from following the flock and said to me, 'Go prophesy to my people Israel.'" I am a theologian, contemplative, a writer, a village pastor. I don't like the conflict of political activism. Yet over the past few years, I've been angered and pained by the intentional destructiveness of our nation's political leaders and the religious leaders who bow down to them. I've been troubled by the greed that destroys the environment, words and actions that promote racism and violence, normalizing hate speech, bullying, and incivility, policies that rob the poor to give to the rich, leaders who destabilize trusted institutions, sowing mistrust of science and medicine, and our leadership's incompetence and hard-heartedness in responding to the COVID virus. The times cry out for prophetic healing and prophetic voices. I realized I couldn't sit at the sidelines forever while the forces of chaos and destruction threaten our nation and planet. Yet I am no prophet. And if I am, I want to do it in a way that promotes reconciliation and healing, even if the process is difficult. I found guidance in meditating on the work of Howard Thurman, one of my spiritual mentors. Thurman was the grandson of a slave living in the era of Jim Crow and lynching, the victim of racism in the streets and in the State House. He lived with the constant pain and struggle of being a Black person in our racist society. Howard Thurman wrote the first Black liberation theology, Jesus and the Disinherited, and recognized that Jesus lived all his life in a world of oppression, racism, and powerlessness. And yet Jesus was a prophet, sometimes forceful, a prophet of God's realm on earth as it is in heaven. Jesus did not give in to racism, intolerance, and hate, but confronted it with love and forgiveness to save the soul of the oppressor. In meditating on Thurman's experience in writing his teaching, I found a pathway of prophetic healing, of mystical activism that challenges any political, economic, and social practice that stunts human life and prevents people from experiencing the fullness of life. The prophetic mystic challenges the structural injustice and evil and those who perpetuate it. The prophetic mystic also seeks to care for the souls of the oppressors, the bloviators, the celebrity politicians, the dog whistlers of racism, believing that their behaviors put souls in jeopardy. Injustice, Thurman believed, destroys the souls of oppressor and oppressed alike. The contemplative mystic shocks the perpetrators of injustice by confronting them with their evil ways and their self-destructive and nationally destructive behaviors. The contemplative mystic seeks to speak from the divine in themselves to the divine in the other, calling forth our highest self and challenging the perpetrators of injustice to repent, challenging us to repent and change our ways, to lift up the poor, to promote well-being, to save our own souls and the soul of the nation. Today, we need prophetic healers who confront the evils of our time, who challenge those who promote evil in public policy, and yet see common good and appeal to the presence of God in those with whom they contend. Only with loving justice and prophetic healing can our nation recover its soul and be a light to the world Only in prophetic healing can we go beyond self-interest and nationalism first, and nation first, to confront the evils of our time and be healers in companionship with God.